Hey everyone. Okay, so we finally get the reveal that the Straw Hat Man is the left hand of the Pirate King, Mountain Eater Scopper Gaban. And admittedly, for as much as I have complained about the pacing of this arc and waiting longer than necessary to get or to a reveal like this, ultimately it really was worth it. As one thing that's made clear to the Straw Hats right at the gate before even learning about the connection to Roger is that Gabon is seasoned. Like, despite his very cavalier, goofy attitude, he has the marking of someone who's experienced, who has seen his fair chunk of the world and as it exists. And I like how even before we even get to the actual fight for the key, Gabon takes every opportunity to kind of size Luffy and the Straw Hats up. Like even when he asked Luffy if he was sure about freeing Loki, you could sense there was a deeper meaning behind that question, almost like he knows something the rest of Elbaf doesn't. And yeah, I forgot if this was in the manga or not, but I do love how we got to see the actual event that gave Gabon the title known as the Mountain Eater. And the thing is, even despite seeing it, I like how it's one of those stories that can be kind of left up to interpretation in the sense where although the part about probably protecting Roger is the truest part of the story, the part about slicing the entire top of the mountain is the part of this that feels like almost very much into interpretation where it does sound a little exaggerated, but also not entirely hard to believe either. Given the reputation of the Roger Pirates and especially of their captain. Now, in saying all that, this episode once again builds upon Shanks' underlying importance to the story, as Gabon tells Luffy it took Shanks to restrain Loki. So what makes Luffy think he can achieve the same feat and doing it without any casualties. And the thing is, for as much as it does come across as Gabon's attempt at goading Luffy, I do like how there is this kind of lesson he's trying to teach Luffy about the nature of strength and how, for as powerful as he is even now, there is someone out there who will always be better. There's always going to be a new barrier in order to break past. And in the sense of tying it back to Loki, it almost feels like a warning to Luffy, telling him that even if Loki isn't an enemy, underestimating his strength will get him and many others killed. Which, yeah, even though I really loved this episode, admittedly, it did feel like a bit of a tease that we have to wait another week in order to see the full fight. But again, I don't mind it either because in some ways, introducing Gabon to the viewer, I think is the most important part. And I'll be honest, I think Gabon made probably the pretty much best first impression out of pretty much all the out of all the out of all the out of all the former members of the Roger Pirates that we've met so far. I struggle actually I do struggle to think whether or not I like his introduction even more than Rayleigh's, because Rayleigh's introduction was still pretty iconic, but this one I feel it weirdly, even though it was weirdly exaggerated in a lot of places with Gabon's character, it weirdly felt like it still had more character to it than with Rayleigh's. Like Rayleigh's was kind of had a lot of that, what you would call, aura to it, but with Gabon it felt more like a. But with Gabon, it just felt like it just had a lot of more moments to like show his character in a way, if that makes any sense. But again, it's a toss up. I think I still really like Rayleigh's, but Gabon definitely comes in a close second. I will say, as much as I love Crocus, he definitely had a better introduction than Crocus in my mind. Uh, and and for and I will also say, for all the little things this episode set up, I like how Gabon still feels like the focus of the episode. Like, it never feels like focus gets taken away from him. Like, he's always there, and he's always like the main focus of the episode, which I appreciate. Now, outside of all that stuff with Gaban, though, I also like how this episode is giving us breadcrumbs for the inevitability of Luffy and Shamrock meeting when the Straw Hats come across, like, the demon sigil on the floor. Like, of course, as a manga reader, the fact that it's in the throne room also holds even more significance than just that, than just that alone. But for the current situation, one of the more interesting things about the inevitability of that confrontation for me is that it may end up being the first time Luffy has to confront his own creed about not caring about a person's past, only about who they are in the present. Because while I don't think confronting Shamrock will entirely change his opinions on Shanks, I think something like that will plant a seed in Luffy's mind that will kind of force him to like contend with needing to question more about the person who saved his life. Regardless of how much Luffy, I think, is going to try to convince himself that the past doesn't matter, and it def, I, and it, I think it definitely will add an interesting wrinkle to basically the dynamic between the red hair pirates and the straw hat pirates when they finally meet. Like regardless of how Luffy tries to keep telling himself that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't matter. Ultimately, I think in a lot of ways it is going to matter when they do finally meet. Like, and the episode also keeps feeding us a lot of, again, more visual information of what just happened in the past. Just the fact that again, I kind of already mentioned this, but just the fact that we see a demon sigil at the in the throne room at all is probably the most visual tell that whatever happened to Herald, the government definitely had a hand in his death. Like, it wasn't just Loki alone. Like again, just the fact that Shamrock and Gunko are here at all kind of reveals that in itself. But again, they're really just saying, yeah, whatever happened to Herald, it wasn't just Loki alone. The government had their own hands dirtied in that whole affair. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe if you're on Blue Sky, and on this Crunchyroll, be sure to click the subscribe button and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Night signing off. Later, everyone.